The open group defines a business capability as the ability to do something. Business capability map is defined as a model that represents the complete, stable set of business capabilities, along with all of their defining characteristics, that covers the business, enterprise, or organizational unit in question. SAP LeanIX, a well-known leader in enterprise architecture, offers interesting business capability map templates and examples on their website. They define a business capability maps as a visual representation or diagram that illustrates the various capabilities of an organization and how they interrelate to support the overall business objectives. The process of developing this map is called business capability mapping. Business capabilities are called stable because they are independent of current processes, people, or technology. To stretch the thought, a business capability map is not necessarily a reflection of your organizational structure and should not be named as such. It should not also be named based on the technical solutions you have, as many IT leaders have a habit of doing. Mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. The capabilities represented in a business capability model, or map, are expected to be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. The BIAN Banking Industry Architecture Network makes it a point to emphasize this extensively in the BIAN certification. Mutually exclusive means we want to avoid repeating capabilities as much as possible. Collectively exhaustive means we want to capture all capabilities across the enterprise that are of strategic importance without going too deep. You will agree with me that this is already sounding very hard, especially if you want to attempt this for an organization that is not at the beginning of its journey. The banking industry has the good fortune of having a reference architecture that you can start with when modeling business capabilities. It is not the same for all industries. This means that in practice, you may want to talk to those who were in the business before you, dear enterprise architect. Business Capawat? There is a tendency to be perceived as one who is preparing the ground for layoffs when you start asking people about their capabilities, a corporate spy of sorts. You may even experience escalation of discomfort if you start from the bottom where the action really is, because people are not sure what you are trying to achieve. You will have to explain over and over that you are not assessing individual employee capabilities, but business capabilities. Again, when you display your map to some people, it may just look like another nice photo if you are not able to map the map to its potential use cases. It takes experienced professionals to see such a big picture and even conceptualize potential use cases. Potential use cases of business capability maps. I happened to come across a set of templates developed by Orbis Software a few years back, which gave a profound twist to the whole concept of business capability mapping. At the minimum, there was a Microsoft Excel template used to capture and define capabilities, relating them to other components like processes and applications. Then there was the powerful Microsoft Visio template that includes a sample stencil that you can start with. Interestingly, at some point you could actually get this template in your copy of Microsoft Visio. The beauty of this stencil is the variety of the objects. You could create at least 3 possible models. The model that captures capabilities and their criticality versus maturity. The model that captures current and target capability maturity. The model that maps capabilities to people, process and technology dimensions. 1. Prioritizing based on criticality versus maturity. A view of enterprise-wide capabilities with the criticality, importance, and current maturity gives management information about what capabilities needs to be focused on to mature over the next 3 to 5 years. This means if a critical capability is at a low level of maturity, it deserves more focus in terms of resources, staffing, planning, etc. Understand the current state in terms of maturity helps decide what should be prioritized, so long as we are willing to go where the data leads rather than keep depending on the highest paid person's opinion. Hippo. Interestingly, it takes a lot of maturity at a personal level and in terms of corporate culture to accept what the map says in the first place. Some capabilities will have to be deprioritized because if everything is a priority, then there is no priority. I copied that from Michael Watkins. 2. Addressing dimensions beyond technology. Enterprise architecture traditionally sits within the technology function in many organizations, but the practice is strictly speaking not just about executing technology initiatives. Evaluating the maturity of each dimension with respect to each capability helps us determine whether what we need to solve for is really a technology problem, a process problem, or a people problem. When you begin talking with IT leaders about the need to mature a lagging capability in the organization, chances are that they quickly jump to acquiring a new capability. You quickly realize as an enterprise architect that when you use the word CRM capability, for example, you are not saying the same thing as when most technology leaders use the same expression. Evaluating the maturity of the people, process and technology dimensions for each significant capability helps determine whether you need to refine your process or skill up your people as a strategic move to mature the capability. It may be documenting your processes and following it consistently for sufficient time to identify the real gaps. In some cases, it may mean taking the bull by the horn and changing your org structure or operating model. 3. Mapping capabilities to applications. In my case, we went a bit further beyond the model to visualize the applications used to realize each capability. This gave us high-level insights on potential opportunities for rationalization, which happens to be another very difficult task in any organization full of people. People tend to have affinity for the apps they are used to and will cook up any reason to stay where they are. Having the view is a good starting point. Making the case for change is the next hurdle. What is maturity and how do we target it? Experts much smarter than myself at Carnegie Mellon University did the good work of developing definitions of maturity levels 0 to 5 decades ago. You can read more about this on the CMMI Institute website. Maturity level 0, incomplete, ad hoc, or unknown. Maturity level 1, initial, unpredictable, and reactive. Maturity level 2, managed. Maturity level 3, defined, proactive, rather than reactive. Maturity level 4, quantitatively managed. Maturity level 5, optimizing. The moment you see this sophisticated model developed by profoundly intelligent academics, you may be tempted to place the next phone call to Capgemini, McKinsey & Company, or Boston Consulting Group, BCG, to help you do the assessment. All well and good, but I have the opinion that consultants should be helping you cross bridges you are unable to. So we started simple by asking those delivering these capabilities to estimate their maturity level based on the definitions we agreed on. Painting an initial picture of the business capabilities with this simple approach may give us something more experienced consultants can start with. Defining the target maturity is obviously based on where one currently is. More importantly, how we want to get there is based on where the organization wants to go from a strategic perspective. If the organization is a software company, software development is a critical capability which needs to be matured quickly. It is likely to be done by skilling up internal staff. On the other hand, if the company is a consumer goods retailer with bespoke solution needs, software development is also a critical capability, but they may want to approach maturity by partnering with a set of software development companies. Redundancy. Wrapping it up. Business capability mapping is of immense importance to large and growing organizations who want to see the big picture of what they do and chart their evolution course. In my opinion, it could be one of those initial steps to developing a useful target start enterprise architecture. Doing this in practice is hard work which demands a lot of patience, focus, and people skills. Realizing the intended outcomes depends on the willingness of your organization to follow through and take the hard decisions such a model could unearth. You may want to try your hands on building an early-stage capability map for your organization. It is quite a journey, and your success may depend on the appetite your organization has for such strategic work. You may consider using a segment of your organization as proof of concept. You must realize that in these days of rapid results, not many leaders want to wait for too long to see outcomes. If you need to have a one-on-one support to get started, we may be able to help you. Just drop us a message and let's see how it goes.